Welcome to Be a Pro podcast. I have a special guest this week. My boy, Malcolm Jenkins, three-time Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champ. Right now, he have 961 tackles, 12 and a half sacks, 104 PBUs, 19 picks, 19 forced fumbles, 12 recovered fumbles, 7 defensive touchdowns. That's pretty impressive. Welcome, my boy.
What up, Pops? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing, right? 104 PBUs. You know what that says to me? That you can't catch.
You're right. God damn. I was like, it's something I just come to accept it at this point. I'm like, hey, it's either I'm gonna knock it down. If I catch it, then hey, all praises.
hey, let me ask you this, right? Just say what number, right? How many picks would you have right now, right? And when you count all those PBUs, how many picks would you have right now, realistically? That like one of those. Like
you said 19 right now.
You at 19 picks right now.
I should probably be at over 12 years. I should be at 30.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I think about the time, like, man, I'm like, if I'd have caught half of the ones I dropped,
just half.
I'm like, I'd be a good Hall of Famer. Like, yeah,
absolutely.
It'd be easy Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, you getting your jacket.
But we still grinding.
Absolutely. Well, y'all in the second round now. So how y'all preparing for Tom Brady? You know, the one thing about it, bro, is them division games. I tell people all the time, you could be 2-14, the other team can be undefeated. That division game, it does not matter because y'all know each other and play each other hard. But in this case, it's a playoff game, y'all third game that y'all gonna play in. So what's the approach? What's the mindset? Because it's hard to win 3 times in a row.
Yeah, man, it's hard to beat a team twice in a season, but let alone, trying to beat them three times. But I think that the good thing that for us is we feel like we match up well with this team. Obviously, we know them a lot. They've got a ton of weapons, and we've obviously had those battles this year, but you've seen them get better as the season progressed. So they're not going to be the same team that we saw a few weeks back in the season. But for me, one of the things that I was, after our previous game, the first playoff game, I watched the tape afterwards, man, and I was encouraged at how our line played because we played split safety defense all day. And it wasn't many runs, coming through. I had a clean game, wasn't making many tackles.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and that's always a good thing.
That's a huge thing, especially when you look at a team who's got all of the weapons at receiver and tight end and quarterback. Looking at Tampa Bay, our D line is really going to be the key to what we can do. Can we stop the run with just the guys up front? Can we dedicate more resources to the coverage? And that's what the success that we've had in the past is when our D line has showed up. And so we're gonna need them more than ever if we want to beat Brady 3 times.
Yeah, no doubt. And right now you got 3 picks. I think you tied on the team, but 3 picks was somebody. I forget who it was, but that D line. If that D line show up, y'all pretty hard to beat. And that's right. You could have had a pick 6 to the house. You almost got caught from behind, bro. I back in the day.
The old me.
That's to the crib.
Yeah,
that's to the crib. Back then, that's to the crib. And then PJ came up with a strip fumble. One thing I could say is that you always around the ball, bro.
That's how you can't make plays if you ain't around it.
Man,
we'll find a way to get there. But man, turnovers, and this when you get to the playoffs, man, the games are won in the trenches and in the turnover takeaway battle. Who can get extra possessions and who can dominate the line of scrimmage usually wins these games. And so, we are going to be hunting, for the football in any way that we can.
I already know it. Hey, but one thing about I want to talk about you being a first round pick. You was a first round pick in 2009, right? A lot of people don't think first round picks really go through things like the adversity part of playing the game. And explain because you came in as a corner. Then they moved you to safety, and it was I think it was 3 corners in front of you. It was who? It was It was Tracy Porter, Jabari Greer,
Jabari Greer, and Randall
Gay in front of you, and you was a first round pick. You finally started playing. The next year, they drafted another first rounder, P. Rob.
Yep.
And now it's like, okay, what are we gonna do with Malcolm? What are we gonna do? Then they moved you to safety, right? And then a couple years later, you draft with Carl. Like, explain your whole mindset being a first round pick and that adversity that you had to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously a lot of pressure, right? You know, not only do you want to live up to, you know, who you think you are as a player, you want to make a name in this league, but you know, when a team drafts you with their first pick, you know, it's a lot of pressure for you to perform and not be a bust and X, Y, and Z. And for me, I got into camp late, and like you said, it was Randall Gay at the slot, who's a veteran, played with the Patriots for a long time, you know, very, very savvy in the slot. Jabari Greer, who was a veteran at the time, was very technique oriented, was being really, really productive that year. And then Tracy Porter was a young guy at the time. I think he's in his fourth year, who was also playing well. So, you know, I found myself on special teams for the first 6 weeks of the season, and trying not to, you know, let that get to me. But I was still making plays on special teams. I think I had like 3 takeaways on special teams in that 6 weeks. But I'm looking at who was the other corner that got drafted with me that year? Vontae Davis.
Who was it?
Vontae.
Vontae. Yeah. Oh, in Miami. He was in Miami.
Yep. And he was starting. And he's making plays. I'm looking at Darius Butler. I think was in my class. He's making plays. I'm like, you know, and I'm sitting there and playing special teams as a first round corner, and that was a little bit tough. And then, like you said, the next year, Darren Sharper was starting the year on PUP. So it was like, hey, we want you to, they drafted a corner in Patrick Robertson. Like, we want you to move to safety. And I was playing the nickel and the safety. And, you know, I was going to do whatever I had to do to get on the field, but I actually felt like that nickel position was where my home was. Like, I felt like that's where I really learned, like, how to apply my skill set to the game. And then, you know, and was learning safety kind of as I went. I really didn't know how to play safety. The angles were different, the eyes and discipline, all that stuff was different. But it did help me though figure out how to apply my skills like to the game, being in that different spot. Because that corner life, I don't know if I was built long term to be out there.
But one thing you did get out of it, you got that Super Bowl out of it. You got that Super Bowl out of it now, and that was dope. And that's one thing I wanted, and I was chasing for a long time. And that's really a drug for real. Mm-hmm. You know, like once you get your money, you get it, you know, you take care of your family, everything's set. Now it's like, oh, I need that ring. I want to hoist that trophy. But fortunately, I didn't get to do it.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's like the money and everything is cool, you earn it, but I think with most guys, the real like players of this game want to lead, like we want to be remembered, right? And the only way you do that is when they etching your name into a statue, or you know, they hanging your banners from the stadium. You know, those are the things that I think, you know, players want to be able to do. And there's nothing like, you know, a Super Bowl. They can't take that away from you. You ain't did nothing. I was the best in the world, you know, and the best team in the world. So. You know, I've been fortunate to do it 2 times. Now I'm just, you know, we got a real good opportunity this year to do it a third. And, you know, absolutely. I'm grateful. Because like you said, you got people like yourself been in the league a long time and never been blessed with that. So I'm definitely aware of that for sure.
So you talking about legacy, right? And like, you know, that means a lot, like hoisting that trophy, getting that ring, you know what I mean? But how much do the young guys understand that? Because you the triple OG now.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're the OG on the squad. So how do they take it? Because as I was getting older, the generation kind of shift, and the mindset wasn't the trophy. But I get it. Social media, it changes. I get it.
Yeah.
So how do you keep them in tune, and how do you let them know, like, hey, this is real. This is important. Like, how do you do that?
Well, the good thing is on this team, you know, I came into the situation where now I'm back on the Saints, and they've been knocking on the door of a Super Bowl for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So I came into a situation where a lot of the young players have like that drive that you see from the veterans who've been chasing it for years because they, unlike me who came in my rookie year and won it right off the gate, and I'm just thinking this is normal. And then it wasn't another nine years till I got back to the Super Bowl.
Until you got back.
So
Word.
I'm like,
Yeah.
so when you have a lot of success in this league, sometimes coming out of college, you think that it's just routine, and then you really don't realize not only being on good teams that can compete for Super Bowls, but being in good locker rooms and good
Locker room.
organizations. I think that's the thing that a lot of young players don't understand sometimes how good they have it until they go somewhere else.
Until they go
And then
somewhere
you
else.
realize like, oh nah, like, it to be in a good organization and to be competing time in and time out, like while we all want to win, it's like consistently you also want to be in those good organizations. So it's hard for a young player to really understand that until they've tasted something else.
Yep.
But I think we've got a mature group though who've been locked in on winning because they've been so close.
No doubt. So how do Malcolm Jenkins prepare for a game? Not you can do pre-COVID, because I know right
Pre-COVID.
now it's kind of skewed right now because
Yeah.
of what's going on. So
You mean like the whole week?
yeah, I mean, get the people what they want, man.
All right.
And you might want to put these in there too, because we want some gear, bro.
Oh yeah,
We
see
want some Damari suits.
that's the end of the week. That's the
Oh, the
last
end of the week.
that's the cherry on top. I don't do
Okay,
that
let me
till
get out of
Saturday.
there then. Let me get out of there then.
But Mondays after the game, usually hopefully it's a victory Monday. I go get a lift in. That's like my heavy lift day, do some squats, do the treatment, and just usually kick back. Tuesday, take the day off to just do things that I like, be around my kids, read, practice some little hobbies or whatever. And then Wednesday, you back at it. I'm at the facility from 7 to usually 7 from Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, like end of the day with a massage. And then Saturday or so, and then so all Friday night and Saturday, I just changed. By that time, I've watched all the film, done all the preparation. And it's really just about like playing the game in my mind. So I'll go
Absolutely.
through all these old games, that they've played that aren't in the cut ups, and I'll just, by that time I
Yeah,
know what the D coordinator's doing, and I'm just getting the feel for the game. Because in the game,
you
once I
you
get
get
there,
the
I don't
call
even think
sheet
about
too.
nothing.
Do you
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
the call sheet? Hey,
yep.
ladies and gentlemen, this is a true OG right here. You can tell he's in tune with the game and knowing what's up. Because I do the same thing. I got to get that call sheet. What are you thinking on third down? What are you thinking on second down? First and 10. So when that first and 10 or third and 4 come on, it's only 3 calls. All right, give me them
Yep.
3.
Yep. And you know the
Hey,
spots.
true bet.
Yeah,
Respect.
yeah. So I play that game. So when I get by the time I get to Sunday, man, it's like clockwork. I'm just feeling the stuff at that point. But the finishing touch though was what you teed up earlier. The
Hold
game
on. Let
day
me go.
fits.
Ooh, ooh, don't hurt him, man. Come on. Hey, so hey, is this your company? They sponsor you? How does that work?
Nah, so it's my company, Damari Seville. I started it a few years ago, 3 years I think. Ago in Philly, we got a brick and mortar. Just went through a location change. We get ready to open a new spot, a new location here shortly. But yeah, it's my company, man. I design all of the suits. So all of the stuff you see me
Ooh.
wear, I design. It's been a really cool company. We dress a lot of guys in the league and NBA players. Do a lot of runway stuff, but it's custom clothier. Damari is my middle name, and then Seville is at the Savile Row out in London, where all of the bespoke suits are.
The rich get richer, huh? I
Entrepreneur.
gotta get me one of them suits. I didn't even know. I was reading up on. I gotta get me one of those. I gotta get look dapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes you look. It makes you look young.
Hey, at least cut some pounds off you for sure. We can send somebody out to you though. Sure.
No doubt. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit. You're definitely a player active. You're an activist, definitely. And I never told this story. So I regret, right? And I wish I would have talked to you sooner because the time where everybody was taking a knee was like 2012, 2013, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Around that,
14,
around
something
that
like 13,
14.
14, yeah,
Yeah.
14. Or actually, no, it was 16. It was
It was
16.
16? It was that
Yeah,
late? Okay.
yeah,
So
16.
the around the time it started, right? And I was all on board. And I'm like, and I was one of the ones, I'm always in the meetings. I was on the group text that we all when we was texting, we was talking and everything, but I never kneeled.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was in a position, and I think about it a lot because I don't know if I had to show that where my heart really was, but I was still with the team, with the players, and with everybody. But I felt like everybody that kneeled and everybody that put it in quotes disrespect the flag, so they say,
Mm-hmm.
and they were gone. They didn't get a job the next year. They they didn't get picked back up. It's a lot of players that I know off the top of my head that kneeled and stood for that, along with Kaepernick, still can't get a job. And I saw what you was doing, right? And you put the fist up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of black and brown people, we know what that means. And tell the people where that came from because like I wish I'd have talked to you earlier, and because I saw it kind of late. Then I'm like, man, what is he doing? Because I was thinking everybody gonna do the same. Remember, you was on the chat. We was gonna
Yeah,
lock arms. We're gonna take a knee. We're gonna put a fist
yeah,
up. It was all over the place. No
yeah.
one knew what they wanted to do. But when I saw you doing what you're doing, and you continue to do that, like, could you explain that mindset in which you was thinking?
Yeah, I think, like you said, we use on that chat. We're trying to organize, 2,000 players across the league with
Yeah.
32 different teams. Everybody's got opinions on what should happen, what shouldn't. You kind of already have what Kaepernick was doing, but guys were trying to figure out how to assist that or how to participate, in a way that, you know, was comfortable for them. And I think just,
Yeah.
man, and all of the different narratives and the different types of protests, I'm like, what's something that, is like nobody will misunderstand, that has been done before, that like visually you'll see and know exactly what it is that we're talking about. And the image of Tommy Smith and John Carlos in the Olympics with their fist up, like I grew up
Word.
with that
Yep.
that image, and so I'm like, I want to use that because when people see it, like you said, black people, not only just black people, but everybody kind of knows, okay, why you are taking that position, why you're in that posture, and then so that narrative can't be changed to, a flag or about the
Absolutely.
anthem or anything like that. And that was the biggest thing that I think God trying to do was just avoid that narrative getting hijacked, which was, that was a daunting task at the time.
Yeah, no doubt. And much respect for that too. Um, Eagles. Let's talk about the Eagles a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
you endorse Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Before I knew you did that, in my mind, I was thinking Deuce. And
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking him because like I think over there he has the most longevity from playing, and he was a coach since what, 2011,
Yeah,
13,
he's been
something like
there
that.
for a while. Yeah.
And he was coaching, and he just moved up every year. He had three different head coaches. He
Mm-hmm.
had Andy Reid, Chip Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
um, the coach now that just got
Del,
fired,
Del Peterson. Yep.
Peterson. Give him a shot. We, and right now it's like 6 jobs open. I think 4 or 5 GM jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping at least half of them will be for black and brown because we have qualified black and brown people.
Yeah, that's the bigger thing is that there's some really bright minds right now that are hitting the market and are open. Like I play for one right now, and Aaron Glenn, who I think can be a head coach in this league, and hopefully he gets an opportunity for that. Like Deuce Staley, somebody who's been there, especially in the Eagles organization, played for that city, has been on the coaching staff, and like when you talk about somebody who like is the embodiment of that team and a coach, it's
Yeah.
him, and he's been the assistant head coach. So while he doesn't have, I don't know about, his ideas of a play caller, but as a leader of men, like he's the guy that I think can stand in front of that room and organize the team. And obviously, you equipped him with a really good play caller. But also, Bieniemy up in Kansas City is another guy who's
Absolutely. No doubt.
way beyond his time to move up to being a head coach. So hopefully, we'll see this offseason, some of those doors opening up to more black coaches, because it's not been a thing where we haven't had the qualified bodies of minds to do it. It's just the opportunities haven't been there. And I know we've been pushing for it, and I think it's important that players like talk about those things more. That we gas up,
Yeah,
the
be
coaches
comfortable talking. Yeah,
that
and
have
be
helped us
comfortable
be the
doing
players
that.
we want.
Absolutely. And
Because
even GMs, when we talk about GMs, I could throw names out like Jimmy Ray. He's with the Detroit. Champ Kelly. He's over at Chicago. Both of them are highly qualified. And we shouldn't be afraid to say that or tell people that. No, I think he's a great coach.
Yeah.
Because what other way is going to get out there? Other than they hiring somebody going to look and just rate candidates. I don't know how they do that, but whatever.
Well, then also too, media plays a big part in this, right?
True.
Like when people don't know much about you, then the media they'll paint whatever picture they want. So for the candidates that they think are great, they'll talk about how bright their minds are and how they're such good leaders. But if they don't know much about you, then it's going to be all about you don't have experience in this, you don't have experience in that. But we've seen even coaches like Doug Peterson and other people get those shots. And get those opportunities. So, it's important for players to be able to paint the narrative like, no, like Aaron Glenn is like, as a 12-year veteran coming in and playing, and I think I played for 6 different D coordinators. Know every coverage in there has made me better and taught me things in this game. And that's hard to do with a vet, from a player.
For an old guy like you, yeah.
Right. And I'm like, so I'm like, if he can coach me, he can stand in front of any team in his league. And there's a few guys who I think, and Deuce being another one of those guys. So, like I said, man, for me, I think it's time for players to start to sing the praises of the coaches that make them the players that they are, because these opportunities, like, they deserve, and they're well qualified, and I think will make teams better if that trend begins.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Totally agree with you. Malcolm Jenkins Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, bro. I love everything that you're doing. I told you, anytime you need me, I'm there.
Yeah.
You had a Christmas giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and you did it. Talk about that a little bit. Talk about your foundation, who's in support, and the things you're doing in the community.
Yeah, so we do so much work. This was actually a decade. This was our 10-year anniversary. And,
oh wow! Congrats, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you've been supporting over the years. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
We had all these grand plans of what we wanted to do this year, and COVID had some other plans. Yeah, but like everybody else, we had to pivot. And one of the things that what became really important was just people's ability to get food and food insecurity in the midst of a global pandemic. And one of our programs does just exactly that. And what we did was we started a 504 challenge where we wanted to feed 504 families every month. I think we started back in September-ish throughout the year. And we've been able to do that through partners and sponsors. That's been great. We moved our annual fundraiser that we normally do, where we get to see people and be around and see all our sponsors and friends and volunteers. But we moved that online and did like a little gaming night. So had a little virtual blackjack and some cocktails. You send everybody kind of like some mixologist packages at home, so they could mix up their drinks at home. But it was a good time, man. We had former players come on and join people. So you're sitting there playing blackjack with Tequila Spice and Chris Long,
that's cool.
Ward Dunn, Eddie George, a bunch of guys came on. So we've had to pivot, man, but we've still kept up the work, still are doing things to really impact the community. But we want to meet people where the needs are. And right now, food insecurity is a huge thing. The digital divide, making sure that as schools go back now to a virtual experience, that we don't forget about the communities that don't have access to internet, devices and all of those things. And then moving some of those curriculums and all of those resources to a virtual space. I think that's what COVID has taught us, is that sometimes like we can reach and do more in this virtual, space. So bringing more curriculum to folks that want to take a different career path other than, 4-year universities. How do we get, these online training curriculums, so that people can go out and make a living for themselves?
That's what's up. Hey, again, bro, anytime you need my help, anytime you need me, I'm there. I got you, bro.
I appreciate you for that.
Hey, three-time Pro Bowl, 2-time Super Bowl champ, right?
Yep.
You made second team All Pro, I think 2010.
Yeah.
Second team All Pro. What's next? You ain't retiring yet. You got to ride. You got to hold it down. But what's next in the future?
Yeah.
After 5 more years of ball.
Oh man, so right now I'm really into just like this creative space, man. Like one thing I think, as football players, we get stuck in this bubble where there's muscles that we have that we don't get to really use. Yeah. And a lot of the time, creativity is something that I have in me that I really just started tapping into over the last few years. And I started my production company, Listen Up Media, about a little over a year ago. And we've got a project out now on Peacock called Black Boys. That was my first project I was an executive producer on. And that's already on a streaming platform. And we're working on creating a couple more docs and movies. So I really want to get into that film space and really dive into my production company. DeMarisville is obviously the fashion space that I'm into. And we just started a venture capital fund we're doing with Black athletes and entertainers around the country called Broad Street Ventures. We're doing tech investments in partnership with Rashawn Williams under his lead, who's really been a pioneer when it comes to creating spaces for African American investors in kind of that venture capital space. So, man, I kind of got my hand in a lot of different things, man. Really trying to explore who I am outside of this sport, so that when it comes time to do that transition, that that I'm not out here feeling lost. And then obviously, I love to talk about the game. So broadcasting and being in the booth and commentating, all those things are also an interest.
All right, no doubt. I like it. Can you tell me what was the best advice that you received? What was the best advice you received?
I think the best advice, and it was a hard lesson, but it was played out to be true. Sean Payton came into a meeting, I remember my rookie year, and he's just like, understand the faster you understand your role on a team, like the longer you'll be, like longer you'll stay, and the more, and the better and more productive you be. Not everybody's coming on the team to be a star player. I remember he told a guy who didn't play well on special teams, like, you think you're here to be a running back? It's like, you just go to their meetings. Like, you're here to play special teams. And so if you're not doing well on special teams, you're not going to be on this team. And it's like, and I've had to learn, you got to learn that lesson in life in general. Like, wherever situation you're in, you got to figure out what is your role for the team. It might not be the one that you want, but what is it right now? And understand that that's where your purpose is for the team. And then you can grow kind of out of that space. And then the more you can do, the longer you stay in.
Or you can do.
And so, like, people ask me, like, playing all these different positions, I'm like, it also makes me kind of indispensable. Yeah, very valuable. Like it makes it hard to get rid of me because I do so many different things. And so I try to tell, young players as much as they can. I'm like, don't paint yourself into, I just play corner, I just play safety. I'm like, man, because you can be the next. We got a guy, PJ Williams, right now.
Yep, PJ.
Man, I done seen him midweek have to go from playing safety to going to corner to going to nickel. Like, in a game playing all three, and it's just like, but he's gonna make the team every year.
Every year.
Just because of that.
Every year, just because of that.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of humility. That takes some dedication. That takes some grit, man. It's a special player to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
I think that was the best advice I got. Like, understand your role, man, and really, the more you can do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm gonna end this by this. This is what I do to end the show a little bit. I don't want to hold you up. I know you got a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
So I end it like you play for two different teams, but well, two of the same teams, but two different teams. Well, two different teams. And I play a game where I say you create your team. So if I say name your DBs, right? You'd be like, you're gonna name your Super Bowl championship team, right? So if I say name your DBs, you would say 2012 DBs. If I say name your linebackers, you would say 2019 linebackers. And it could be from Eagles, it could be or from the Saints. First stint or second stint with the Saints. You got it?
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't got to name the players.
It really ain't gonna. It's gonna be hard to do. It'll be harder to do it. It's gonna be easy to do it with a year. It's gonna be this year. This is the best defense I've been on, like top to bottom. Yeah, as a group, I've never had, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but you got Lattimore, who's to me
absolutely
like when. I can't wait till he gets his due and he's considered, the best in his league. I think he's on his way there. Jack Rabbit's been a veteran in this league, can run with anybody, quick, can make plays on the ball. And so to have those two where I'm like, I don't have to worry about, man.
You don't got to worry.
I'm not leaning no way,
That is a safety's dream.
Man, I've never had that. And so I'm like. So,
that's if you're playing safety, because you're playing nickel.
I'm playing everything. I'm playing everything.
Yo, man.
But it's like, that's a big thing. And so to me, from a secondary standpoint, the one I'm on is the best one I've had. Although I've been on some really productive ones, especially my first year when Darren Sharper, Roman Harper, Jabari Greer, all them dudes they were racking it up. But I think this year for sure, the linebackers, Demario Davis, to me, when him and Quan Alexander were in the lineup, that was probably the most dynamic backers I've been with since my rookie year.
What year was this?
This is this year.
So
this year too.
All right, so when I say DBs, it's 2019 DBs.
Linebackers,
2019.
Yeah.
Okay, when I say D line, it's y'all dogs this year.
It's this year for sure. With a close second being at the 2017 D line with Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, you had Chris Long, bunch of dudes out there, Derek Barnett. Like they were some dogs too. But this year, man, you got Trey Henderson, who's finished second in the league with sacks, Cam Jordan, like Malcolm Brown in the middle, Ayamada, they eating, and I see it every day.
Tell the people how easy it is to play defensive back when you have them dogs up front.
Yeah,
Let the people know.
Yeah, so I like to keep it real, whatever I can. I don't like playing deep because it's too far. To me, I don't like those long collisions where you see it from 15 yards out and y'all both running full speed, and it's just like I don't like that as a safety. So I'm like,
or when it opened up like the Red Sea,
and if you play cover 2 or any split safety, that happens a lot of the time versus runs. That back comes unabated straight to you, and you got to make an open field tackle. And then they're not the guys who like to make you miss, then they're gonna run you over, and I don't like that. So I'm aggressive in split safety, but this is the first year I'm like playing split safety all day and won't have a tackle, and it's like blowing my mind. And so to not have like those things, to not worry about that, and now I can focus completely on where's the quarterback looking, what's the route combination, you can make so many more plays on the ball. You got more resources in the back end, and that's been a direct correlation to why our secondary plays the way it does, and it's production that we've had, the ability to limit big plays, like that all starts really up front. If they can stop the run, especially in the light box, man, it's the sky's the limit to what you can do on defense.
Yeah, word. All right, so we're gonna go to the offense side of the ball now.
Mm-hmm.
So, offensive line. What offensive line would you want to play with in your Super Bowl dream team?
I think the year we won the Super Bowl, I think the Eagles had like the top. They were like them and Dallas had the top like offensive lines in the league. And I know the Saints had some really good offensive lines too. I mean, this year what AK is doing and how we've been running the ball has been great. I would say this 2017 offensive line.
17, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're running back.
Alvin Kamara. Yeah. AK. And
all right. Receiving core.
That's a hard one.
Nah, that ain't that hard. Eagles ain't had no receivers.
Nah, so I'm going between the old school Saints and the new school Saints.
Oh, okay.
So right now you got Mike, you got Emmanuel Sanders, you got Cook at tight end. We had Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, Lance Moore, Devery Henderson.
Henderson was fast too. Yeah.
Rolling, and Meacham was rolling too on the other side.
Too. Meacham was fast too. He went to Tennessee, right?
Right. Jimmy Graham was in them days. He was in his heyday. Like, yeah.
I like that group.
They're very similar, man. I like that group too, though. That 2011 offense that we had was unbelievable. That year, I would say that group.
Yeah.
We should have won a Super Bowl that year, but we ran into the 49ers.
And your quarterback, obviously, you'll take Drew.
Yeah, Drew Brees. I'm like, would I shocked everybody if I was like, I'm going with Nick Foles? No,
yeah, you would. You would shock the world, right?
that would just be dumb. Yeah, Drew Brees. Give me the Hall of Famer.
Hey, well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Be a pro.
Appreciate you having me. Yeah.
Hey, no doubt. Like I said, anytime you need me, I'm there. And one thing I can say about you, you was always consistent. Throughout your whole career, you was consistent. Always running to the ball, making plays. And that was you. So salute to you, bro.
I'll keep it up, brother. Appreciate you.
No doubt. Respect.
All right, be safe.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Be a Pro podcast. I want to also thank Malcolm Jenkins. He is the ultimate pro. Just watching him play, he goes hard every play. He plays different positions. And like I told him, like I got nothing but respect for him because the adversity that he went through as a first round pick, it's pressure, bounced around. Then he finally found his niche and then he started to grind and do his thing. And now he just flourished in every defense he's been in, played every position that he's been in. And every time you see 2-7, just understand 2-7 gonna be around that ball. And that's nothing but respect. So thank you for tuning in to Be a Pro podcast. This Pops 29. I'm out.